All right, let's talk about a literary legend. Today, we're cracking the case of Jane Austen, an author whose novels feel just as sharp and relevant now as they did 2 centuries ago.
So that's the big question, right? How on earth did this happen? How did a clergyman's daughter with almost no formal education end up becoming one of the most celebrated writers ever? Okay, so to really get a handle on her genius, you have to picture the world she was born into. And believe me, it was not a world that was expecting a Jane Austen.
Yeah, she was born way back in 1775, the daughter of a country clergyman. So, no fancy titles, no formal schooling to speak of. Her world was this kind of modest, educated country gentry. And her real classroom, that was her dad's library. She basically had free reign of it.
And this number here, £200, that's the key. That was her father's annual income. Now, to put that in perspective, a typical family of their class was pulling in anywhere from £1,000 to £5,000 a year. So they were respectable, for sure, but they were not rich. And that position, kind of looking in on high society from the outside, that became the secret sauce for all of her novels.
So the question is, how did she pull it off? How do you go from that background to writing these timeless masterpieces? Well, it turns out she had a couple of secret weapons. These really powerful and, for the time, super innovative literary tools that just set her completely apart from everyone else.
Okay, weapon number one, satire. And I mean, she was a master. She wasn't just writing these fluffy romance stories. Nope. She was using humor and irony to perform this brilliant, sharp dissection of her whole society. The class structure, what it meant to be a man or a woman, and oh boy, especially the whole business of marriage.
I mean, come on, this line is just perfect, right? It's the very first sentence of Pride and Prejudice. She calls it a truth universally acknowledged. But what's it really about? It's about money. She immediately frames marriage not as this grand romance, but as a straight-up financial deal. And that's what makes it so funny and so painfully accurate for her time.
But, okay, her genius wasn't just about dropping these witty one-liners. Her real innovation, the thing that truly changed everything, was something way more subtle. It was this revolutionary new way she found to get inside her characters' heads.
She basically pioneered this technique that we now call free indirect discourse. And trust me, this was a total game changer. It's this clever way of blurring the lines between the narrator's voice and what a character is actually thinking. It just completely changed the possibilities of what a novel could do.
So look at the difference here. It's subtle, but it's huge. On the left, you have the standard way. Emma thought, he's more in love with me. Simple. But look at what Austen does on the right. The narrator just states it as a fact. He was more in love with her than Emma had supposed. See what's happening? We, the reader, get to see Emma's wrong idea presented as if it's the truth. We get to watch her be completely mistaken in real time, and the narrator doesn't have to say a word about it. It's just a brilliant way to build character and irony.
So you'd think, with this level of skill, she'd be an instant star, right? Well, not so fast. She faced some huge professional challenges. Let's just say being a female author back in the early 1800s was not exactly an easy ride.
I mean, just let that sink in for a second. The woman writing these incredibly witty, insightful, and popular novels had to publish them anonymously. Her name never appeared on her books while she was alive. They were just by a lady. It just goes to show you the kind of world she was up against. And then there's the money, or the lack of it. She earned next to nothing for her work. Take Pride and Prejudice. She sold the copyright completely for £110. But look at this chart. If she had been able to publish it on commission, getting a cut of the sales, she could have made around £475. That's more than double her father's entire yearly salary. From one book. It just shows how much she and other women were losing out because of these terrible publishing deals. And this timeline, wow. It just lays out what a long, frustrating slog it was. Can you imagine writing a masterpiece like Pride and Prejudice and just having it flat out rejected? Or selling another novel, Northanger Abbey, and the publisher just sits on it for over a decade? It's incredible. Her entire career was just a lesson in pure, stubborn persistence in the face of one setback after another. Which brings us to the big question. Why? Why are we still so obsessed with Jane Austen more than 200 years later? What's the final verdict on her legacy?
Well, it's funny. Most of her fame came after she was gone. It was this slow burn. First, critics and other writers started championing her work, and then it just exploded.
By the late 1800s, there was this full-blown public mania for her. They even called it Austenolatry, and that's what really cemented her place as one of the all-time greats.
And the proof is everywhere, right? Her stories are just timeless. I mean, look at all these incredible film and TV adaptations. They just keep coming, and we keep watching them. They captivate new audiences, generation after generation.
But really, it's so much more than just the romance and the beautiful costumes. Her commentary on money, class, and social pressure, it feels shockingly modern. The things her characters are wrestling with, trying to be financially secure, balancing what they want with what their family expects. Those are the same dilemmas we're all still trying to figure out today. Just, without the corsets.
And I think that's her ultimate legacy. She teaches us to look closer at our own world, to question the unspoken rules we all live by. She used her incredible wit to hold a mirror up to her society, and really, she's leaving us with a challenge to do the same for ours.